In Riftbound, there can be some confusion around might, damage, and health, but the core rules are here to help us get a better understanding. Even more so with the coming of set 2, where units can go down to 0 might. We'll be using rule 142.2, both A and B, to get a better understanding of things. So, might is the combat statistic of a unit. It's used to determine the unit's contribution to combat through damage or abilities, as well as when it is killed by damaging effects. Think of it as its maximum HP and its maximum damage output. So, because that can reduce or increase its might, will also affect its damage output through combat damage and its ability damage. For example, Yasuo's ability to deal damage equal to its might to an enemy unit when it attacks, which is calculated before the ability actually triggers. So something like Smokescreen, which can be played as a reaction, can be used to reduce that damage output, along with Yasuo's maximum health for that turn. Next, if a unit ever has non-zero damage marked on it, equal or exceeding its might, it's then killed. This means that damage has to be marked. So even if a unit is on 0 might, unless there is damage marked on it, that unit is still alive. But the moment 1 point of damage is applied to it, because we can't have 0 damage applied, the unit is then killed. Now, damage is separate to might reduction, and should be tracked separately as well. Also, damage remains on the unit until healing takes place, which is usually after a showdown or a card that says heal a unit is played. But if you ever play a might reducing card, that allows the damage that has been applied to that unit to then exceed what its total might is at that time. That unit then dies. And then lastly, if a unit's might is ever less than 0, it is treated as 0 for all purposes, meaning you can't have a unit that is on -1 might at any time. So I hope this has helped you understand might a little bit better. Now, as a little bonus, players must still assign lethal damage to a unit with tank before moving to their next when assigning their damage. So if you were to play a card that prevents damage to the tank, it will only prevent that lethal damage, as any extra damage over that would have flown to the next target. Still, you'll save the tank, but any units behind that tank may take the damage and die. However, if you are the defender, this does mean you win the combat and that attacker has to send their units back, as they can't reassign the damage back to the tank.